Anora divide people. Somebody like it a lot, referring that the film is funny and hilarious, comments on social and economic systems, there is an outstanding performance of Mikey Madison, and that the ending is great. Other people say that plot is naive, film has a bunch of dumped dialogues, it lacks depth and dramatic elements, it got cheap humor, and lots of swearing. Count of F-words is actually 517, so the film rated 5th on the top of F-words usage films. And no, I didn't count that one, there is a whole Wikipedia page on that, okay? Anyway, reviews on IMDb ranges from masterpiece to complete garbage. Clearly, Anora evokes emotions, and that's certainly a good thing. I suggest, let's approach the film from the concept of postmodernism. In my view, Anora is a prominent example of postmodern art, as it incorporates many of its ideas, and moreover, reveals perhaps the most significant challenge of the modern life, which is loss of identity. Just to get you in the context really quick, postmodernism is a late 20th century movement in philosophy, ideology, and art, characterized mostly by reassessment of values and refusal to seek new objective truths. It usually criticizes long-held beliefs, traditions, and does not acknowledge human development and well-being alongside technological and scientific achievement, instead sometimes claiming otherwise. Postmodernism brought to us completely different and unusual type of films, many of which are notable for their irony of established social constructs and how society influences our relationships with other people. Also, postmodernism brings new narratives and forms of storytelling, in which plot often becomes not a key part of the film. Instead, authors add levels of depth to films, philosophize, and discuss the changes taking place in society. These films break our expectations. They combine pop culture and high art, mix genres, and create beautiful forms, or often causes an absurd and comical effect that could not have been previously accurate. The boundaries between film and reality are blurring, showing us how fake our everyday life can be, and how at the snap of the fingers we can make our own reality. I think you might get the point. But let's finally talk about Anora. The premise of the film as well as the general course of the plot are terribly stereotypical and can be easily predicted by everybody. It has many sex scenes and comedic situations, lots of slapstick humor. It's basically a rom-com with not quite a happy ending, as it should be. So what was that, after all?
The Russians?
In all of Sean Baker's other films, he explores the lives of those people who work at service industry, or just people who are close to the poverty line, or even both. He's very well immersed in the topic, and Anora is not an exception. For the first opening scenes, we understand that Annie has to work hard to earn money. Tries not to miss a single customer, smiles, making sure she would make a buck. And of course, money for her is just another client, another wallet, but heavier. And first thing Vanya did as a paying client, he makes Anora speak Russian against her will. Then, not so long after, he makes Anora his exclusive girlfriend. It started and continues totally as transactional relationship, and it gets all over to marriage, in which they both pursue only their own goals. Vanya just found a reason not to get back to Russia, so he doesn't have to work for his father's company, and of course get just a little bonus of US passport. Oops, sorry, wrong picture. Here we go. That's the one. Yeah. And Anora, on the other hand, will climb social ladder a few steps up and solve the money issue forever. Overall, film shows a shift in social norms, boundaries of what is acceptable. We can see the decline in the importance of religion and spiritual values, as the tourist, for the sake of his boss's request, leaves the baptism of the child, for example. And also how wedding vows don't really mean anything to couples. And I'm not even mentioning everything else like tying up people, blackmailing, breaking laws, etc. Overall, absence of moral values is obvious, and that is exactly what Storr is saying, as if he was addressing the audience of the film.
Look at you! No respect for elder, no respect for authority, no goals. I mean, the only goal you have just to buy a pair of cool sneakers, that's all. I mean, honestly, come on, what the fuck is wrong with you, huh?
Despite all this, we can actually understand that they're not completely bad people. Anora makes money that way. Harley has been her choice. She's probably thinking about what she can do to get out of.
Like, what do you do to get all of this?
Vanya here, for example, places Anora's childhood picture on the shelf with family photos, which suggests that there were maybe some serious intentions behind the whole thing. Vanya is also not only one entirely to blame for his behavior and lifestyle. Most likely, his parents simply didn't have time for him, and his cousins Thors and Garnik took their place. As for them, they don't seem to enjoy working for Vanya's father either. Thors sincerely apologizing later in the car for leaving the child's baptism.
I told them my apologies. You can tell them one more time. I'm gonna definitely make them up to you, or up to them.
Garnik generally expresses a desire to go back home to Armenia because he does not like what he has to deal with here. He is disappointed and probably wasn't thinking that he would do that when he came to US. All the desires, dreams, and aspirations of everybody in the movie to be rich, to become American, to hang out in Vegas, get married in Vegas, get this wedding ring, sable fur, go to Disneyland, all huge cliches created and inspired by Hollywood and pop culture. The tragedy is these are not our dreams, they were given to us, literally sold to us. We are replacing what we really want with what is most appreciated in society.
Cinderella. Yes, fucking Cinderella. You know me so fucking well, babe.
Society as a whole controls us. Companies, people who have power, status and money. They tell us what we should do, what our dreams should be, and how we're supposed to act based on which social group we belong to. Either it is nation, race, gender, or how much money we have, or where do we work. And even how should we be called by. Mention how Anora makes up with the name Annie so she can more appeal to her clients, to people around her.
Hi, I'm Annie.
At the same time, Annie is the defense mechanism that Anora created so she can also distance herself from hard and crucial situation in life which she is in.
Anora Mikhaeva.
Annie. It's Annie.
It says Anora.
I know, but I go by Annie.
It all breaks down beautifully in the last scene. All this time Igor, unlike any other character, being polite to Anora and treated her gently, either giving her the scarf, passing her a glass of water, or cover her up with a jacket. He might also like her as he shows all the signs of attention, but I think mostly he sympathizes with her, sees how unfairly she's being treated, and how she can do nothing about it because she's at the bottom of social hierarchy, almost just like he is, amongst working class. Unfortunately, Anora perceives Igor's gesture only as another transaction for which she needs to pay back. Or better to say, she can only perceive herself as Annie. Very soon she realizes that she becomes somebody else, somebody she would never wanted to be. So what do we have? Film obviously doesn't have a complex plot. It lacks originality and fancy expensive special effects. And it is kind of similar to other forms of contemporary art. Compare, for example, with Romanticism paintings, with lots of details and the whole story embedded in just one picture. Postmodern art become more accessible for people to consume and to create, as it gets technically easier, even becoming absurd sometimes. Film also becomes much easier to enjoy, as it tells very simple story and uses lots of comedy and humor that everyone can understand. Just as postmodernism movement denies utopian ideals and criticizes established system of values, film does the same. It mocks our society and our dreams, as we can see how banal, artificial and similar they are. Just as postmodern art often defines the present day, lots of camera shots in the film are made on purpose, shaky and unsteady, like we are spying on someone's life, or as if we are in the same room with the characters. Along with the ambiguous behaviors and actions, you can observe what the society values looks like right now. And finally, postmodern art forces us to look deeper and ask questions. And I think that all of us can relate to the characters in some way. Either you are near the top of the social hierarchy, have to worship your superiors, obey their orders, or you are near the bottom, just a small part of the system and have little influence if any, or maybe you're somewhere in between. In any way, Anora makes me ask these profound existential questions, like why I'm doing certain things, what do I want, what are my dreams? And are there any great and worthy ones? But probably the hardest question is how not to lose yourself.